Times Square no longer exists from that era. It's completely cleaned up. We had to go up to Washington Heights to build Times Square because nothing in Times Square looks like 1971. We had a flat space on Amsterdam around 164th. Michelle knew exactly what she wanted.
We built the underneath of a real marquee, and we hung that on one building. So we had the interactive lights with all those bulbs. And then we built light boxes that went further on down the street. And then we put movie lights deep to make it look like the lights went on forever. And everything had to be planned out ahead of time. But it's still one of those things until you show up on the day, you go, oh gosh, this is gonna work. We were transformed into 1971.
We made sure that the movies that are on the marquees were in fact playing in Times Square in that exact period. So rest assured, it's pretty authentic.
I really appreciate it when everything is real. And so when you see a sign that says 50 cents for this or $2 for that, those are all real. Those are right out of 1971. It was really important to me that it was gritty and grounded. This is a time in New York City when there was a lot of exciting things going on, a lot of opportunity, but behind closed doors was the harsh reality.
One of the most powerful tools available to
When we first made CC in the Port Authority,
Bill Clinton,
I'd written the scene originally with all
Ford pardoned Richard Nixon, and as we've mentioned before, Abraham Lincoln once pardoned a man for attempted bestiality. That is true. And in fairness, this was the horse. That's a pretty fuckable horse right there. I'm not saying that you should fuck it. I'm just saying I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating
I'm more the micro guy.
The point
Dave
here
will come in
is,
with the bigger
while we
picture
were
of it.
away, Donald Trump issued his very first pardon, and it was a deuce.
A legal lightning bolt from President Trump late Friday. A presidential pardon for Arizona's controversial anti-illegal immigration hardliner, Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
That's right. Donald Trump pardons Joe Arpaio, a man who answers the question, what if a decaying russet potato somehow hated Mexicans? But let's look at that decision, because if the President of the United States is going to use his very first pardon on someone this early in his term, it really is worth knowing exactly who Joe Arpaio is and what the implications of this decision may be. And you probably may have heard of Joe Arpaio before. He has carefully cultivated an image over 25 years as a hard-nosed sheriff with unconventional methods that the media has lapped up.
Joe Arpaio is known as America's toughest sheriff.
Sheriff Arpaio, who's been dubbed America's toughest sheriff.
America's toughest sheriff, Joe Arpaio.
He's known as America's toughest sheriff for his crackdowns on illegal immigration and petty crime.
He brags about making prisoners eat bologna sandwiches so rotten the meat has turned green.
He makes his inmates wear pink, he uses chain gangs.
Inmates are forced to wear striped prison garb and pink underwear.
Well, that is just awful. The pink underwear is fine, but no one should be forced to wear horizontal stripes. They widen the silhouettes. That is a fact. That's a fashion fact. Now, Arpaio really didn't mind that coverage. He actually welcomed it because he loves being on camera so much that he essentially spent years treating prisoners as props for a reality show. And sometimes, literally, he actually had a short-lived show called Smile You're Under Arrest, where people with outstanding warrants would be tricked into appearing on a set only to be pranked in the worst way possible.
Oh, I got one more surprise.
These two people are actually deputies of Sheriff Joe Arpaio's office.
Take him down, take him down. So, dude, you gotta smile, because you're under arrest. Oh, no, for real. Whoop, there it is.
Wait. Whoop, there it is. Now, for the record, even then, that reference was 15 years old. Which is a real wiggity-whack thing to do, dog. And look, tricking people into arrest for your own amusement is a terrible idea for a reality show. The only worst idea is not making Peter the Bachelor. Look at that face! Are you idiots, ABC? Let me just say this, Peter. If you are out there You are and shall forever remain my bachelor. Hashtag Peter is my bachelor. Hashtag he's a catcher. Now, Arpaio will honestly do anything for a camera, and if you don't believe me, watch him sing his favourite song, which, of course, is Frank Sinatra's My Way, the universal anthem of arseholes everywhere. Watch him sing it for a documentary film crew.
The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Here's something interesting there. When Frank Sinatra heard that, he actually climbed out of his grave, walked 400 miles to Arpaio's house, rang the doorbell and simply said, no. But what does doing it Arpaio's way actually mean? Because Trump didn't just pardon him. He touted Arpaio's support on the campaign trail, even having him speak at the Republican convention. So Trump clearly doesn't seem to have any real problem with Arpaio's way. And for the record, it is far more than just the eye-catching circus that you've seen so far, and many people were effective. Maricopa County, where he was the sheriff until just last year, contains over 4 million people.